Hello everybody, Mr. Pilgrim here coming at you with a brand new Dark Souls 3 Platinum Trophy Guide video. In the last video we defeated the Abyss Watchers and got our first Lords of Cinder defeated, and we have now accessed the catacombs. So, from the Abyss Watchers bonfire here, there's two ways you can go about doing this. You can progress normally, or you can kind of cheese through the game and progress backwards. I prefer to cheese and progress backwards. So if we come over here to our right, we can drop down and kind of cheese some stuff here. So the main reason why we're doing this is simply because of what's below us. Sorry, trying to focus. Some fire arrows, that's cool. So down here there will be a very specific enemy immediately on our right here that we'll need to defeat. The reason why is because it controls that ball. If you don't defeat the skeleton with the fancy hat, then that ball will just keep going up back and forth infinitely. And I also believe that they will continuously summon skeletons or revive them. So there's two of those specifically. The first one gives us an undead bone shard, which is really cool. So from here we can backtrack. I also forgot to upgrade, I believe. Yeah, I forgot to burn a couple of undead bone shards. Oh well. But coming back up here, you can grab a ember, and we can see some things, and we can see our favorite NPC, Anri. Now while we're here, we're going to also be trying to do her storyline. So we'll come up to this skeleton here, who will become a very familiar and integral part of this Platinum Trophy. We can easily deal with that. One thing about these skeletons is that they are very aggressive, but also you can stagger them, so that is of note. Now back here we can grab a Titanite Shard. I always like to check around for some secret hidden walls that I might not have discovered. Now when you first enter this area on our right here, skeletons will spawn. You can hit some of them, so just remember that. And we can now be done. I'm trying to stop my cat from climbing around. So if we come over here, come down and say hi to Anri, alerting that crystal lizard. You'll simply just want to tell her no, and that'll progress her quest line, which is great for us. For some reason this lizard thinks he's getting away from me, and he's not. So over here we've got a blood red moss clump. This will help with bleeding, which, you know, is never really going to be that big of a deal. So if we head back to the main room, we can continue from there. As there's a couple of things that is kind of annoying to try and backtrack to when you're not here already. So we're going to come up the stairs first. And this will lead us around to where we're normally supposed to progress through the game, which is good to know. But coming up here, got a few skeletons to try and deal with. Come on, just accept the L. Most of these skeletons with our current weapons are fairly easy to deal with. Do be careful of traps in the middle of the room like so. So if we come back over here, we can slide down and find this cool little area. Now there's going to be something specific that we have to do here, but do be careful of that guy, as he is quite a formidable opponent. But if we come over here and hit this little wall, it'll be a secret. It's got this skeleton who's lying in wait for some reason. And we can grab a Pyromancy Tone. Now from here, there's a few things that you can do. Like right across from us, which we're going to, is going to be a, I do believe it's a large Titanite Shard. More upgrades, the better. Do be careful of this guy as he's waiting for us. Oh, no, it's a sharp gem, so in case you didn't have one, you now have one. If you want to use Spook to get even more cheese on this guy, you can. As you'll see. Pretty strong opponent. But with enough cheese, anybody is easy. So now we can make our way through like normal. As you can see, we're back here. And we can now head down. There is going to be a ring or so that I will point out that you can grab while you're here. I'm not going to. Of course, you can see this shortcut that's broken to a bonfire. Now, I'm going to show you a method that is most notably made easier on yourself. Do be careful of these one skeletons that like to throw the hex orbs down, as they can be quite annoying. But to my right is a very specific ring that we can grab. If you roll through any of these little things that have bones in them, you'll be fine. Get the Karthus milk ring. You can safely exit. Any of those that are sealed like that will actually have the little orbs that'll come out at you. Now here is a very interesting spot that I recommend just skipping. So if we grab our spook and run around here, we can drop down and actually get an easier way of grabbing a bonfire without hassle. So if you come down here, you'll see that ball will drop, and you'll make it in time. You have to forgive my allergies, since my nose is quite runny today. So from here, we can now backtrack, and I recommend just following like I do. Wait for the ball, as it will hit you and do a lot of damage to you. Wait for it to come back up. We're about to cheese an NPC invader who, for the inexperienced, is actually quite annoying. I'm going to deal with these rats, of course. But the reason why I say that is simply because of how he interacts and the weapon that he has. So if you come here, you'll see your game saves up in the right hand corner, and you'll see you'll get invaded. You can simply just run past him. Now I recommend trying to wait, of course. As you'll see, he'll get his ass handed to him, and simply follow the ball. He will, of course, follow you. Now, if you simply wait in specific spots, he will attack. Once again, you can cheese. As you can see, fairly easy. Yeah, you can say cheap, but by all means, this guy is no easy character to fight. You will get the My Thanks and a ring. You also get some souls, some souls and some Estus back for your efforts. And from there, we can continue on. Now, while we're here, there will be another ring that I'll go over in the back. I recommend switching to just one sword and shield out. As coming back here off to the right, there is a couple of specific familiar enemies who are not as troublesome as they used to be, but still quite troublesome. You also have these guys show up again. They aren't quite an issue, as you can see. I'm talking about and referring to these boys right here. These specific enemies are quite troublesome indeed, especially if you played Dark Souls 1. You will know about them, and they're horrible, horrible, horrible heresy. You'll have to forgive me for a moment. I have to do something real quick. Alright. There we go. Sorry about that. So back here we will get another milk ring. If you want to just ignore those guys, you can. Do be careful, as there will be a blob thing that will try and fall on you like this. Spamming R1 will help get them off you faster to deal less damage. And there are certain enemies that you can grab, well, who have grabs that you can do this with. So it's the Karthus blood ring. My apologies. So from here, we can now not have to worry about NPC invaders having to come and deal with these roly boys. Now there is a very specific little secret area I will show you, but the first thing that we have to deal with is this guy over here. As he's very, very nimble. But with our weapons at hand, it goes down fairly easily. You'll notice right here there's a secret wall that you can hit. And there'll be another one of these guys. Like I said, do be careful, as they are very nimble and deal a lot of damage. We'll get the Grave Warden ashes up here. Now, we're also going to be taking out the very specific skeleton down here, who is going to revive these guys indefinitely. So we'll wait till that one goes away. Then we'll come over here. As you'll see, it'll be this boy. And now we can just dip. So the reason why we do that is simply for right here. While we wait. And voila. You'll see this will be a little crab in here. Don't know how he got in there, but he did. And you'll get a dark gem. So now you can carry on. And we are almost done with the catacombs. Almost there. Now, while you're in this little hallway, there will be a Titanite lizard. For some reason, there are certain spaces where he just likes to just leave existence, like so. You'll still get the fire gem, of course. Now, if you want a nice, easy kill, you can come over here and simply just bully that guy off. If you want to open up a shortcut, by all means you can. Right over here. Do be careful though, as these skeletons will revive. So just remember that. Not all of them, of course, but there are some, I believe, like 4 or so. What's going on, guys? Guys not feeling well today? So for the sake of things, I'm not going to pick anything up. But the first thing that you want to actually do is come up over here to the right, and you will find Anri again.
Oh, have you seen horse?
Once again, you want to tell her no. So we can now drop down here, heal up. If you want to reset, you can before you do this, but, you know, if not, you can proceed with caution. And we can enter the boss. It's an easy boss fight when you know what to do, so simply here for the sake of teaching, so you can learn. Oh god, my hand. So when you touch the cup, I definitely recommend you grab this item right here, because this is the only time that you will be able to grab it. Oh my. Now this boss has a varying set of attacks. But what you're simply trying to do is simply just trying to destroy these bracelets. Like so, as you'll see, it'll deal a lot of damage to him. Getting the two on his left arm seemed to be fairly easier than his right arm for some reason. As for some reason, this arm is just really bad at being in an area that is more or less likely to get you hurt. As you can see, that black misty fog right next to him for some reason will deal a lot of damage to you. He can also summon a sword that he'll slam down and use like so. He'll also slam it into the ground and try and have it explode. You can't exactly attack it just yet, but it will eventually go away. He can also spawn enemies that will attack you. And then he can also slam it into the ground to deal a massive blast of energy and consuming it. Like I said, this is definitely the more annoying, because trying to have him slam down this left or right arm technically is very annoying. As you have to be close enough that you'll be able to properly get it. So making sure you're close enough to him is key. And having him do that slam down attack is probably the best method. So trying to stay on his side might help. But we were able to beat him with barely enough life left in us. So we can now be as disrespectful as we can. Now, there is going to be one last thing before we're done here. So we'll rest up and we're going to unlock. So from here, you can unlock 2 new areas specifically. So I'll show you that now. So from here, if we head back the way we came through the doors, what you simply want to do is hit the wooden bridge. Just hit it and you'll see it fall. And then you want to wait for it to break and specifically give it enough time, and then eventually you will be able to climb down like so. I don't see how this turns out like this, but it just does. If you have spook, you can survive the fall down, which I definitely recommend you equip or not anyways. So from here, one good thing I recommend doing is coming over and just hitting this chest. Then dropping down. Jeez. So the main thing is that you're just getting these two big boys to fight each other and then killing whoever's left. So skip to that. Alright, so now that we've defeated the one, as you can see, the mimic has been lured away and been made to have an easy kill. And we'll get the black blade. Do note that there are a bunch of skeletons down here that will die after technically defeating them twice. But then we can now continue on downwards. Come grab this ring. And we can grab a unique little hidden bonfire down here. So now we're actually going to travel back to High Lord Wolnir. Now from here we can make our way up. And make it to Irithyll of the Boreal Valley. Now there will be a bonfire here as a checkpoint to be able to easily warp back, because on the other side of this bridge is a barrier that you're normally not allowed to cross. Just swing back here. Forget there's nothing to grab. But alright everybody, that has been episode 5, The Catacombs. Hopefully this guide has been helpful and informative, and I will see you all in the next one. One small side note though is if you come up to Patches at any point after you say that you don't forgive him, while he's squatting like this, you'll get the Patches squat. So yeah, there's all that, just in case you were wondering.
Can't find. Wait.
Woo!